So, Concord happened last year. In fact, it's actually been, I think, almost a year now since Concord came out and completely failed and was then taken away, basically instantly. So, what's probably going to be happening now is that PlayStation is probably going to be exerting more oversight over the first party studios that they do currently own. And there's a couple of major problems with that. Partly to do with creativity, because people are more likely to look towards something that they are more familiar with. So I could see PlayStation leaning in on more of what they know what they're doing with, rather than allowing for experimentation or newer game styles to exist on the market, which I feel like is how PlayStation has done incredibly well, is by being creative and doing new things. But if they exert a ton of oversight, that could be more restrictive and more of a bother and annoyance than a help. So let's actually look at it. So, PlayStation Studio head Herman Holtz says, "I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply." PlayStation Studios head says Concord taught a big lesson. So it seems like Concord kills game ideas into the future for how badly they failed. I'm basically saying that Sony does much more rigorous testing now. PlayStation Studio Business Group CEO Herman Holtz says he wants future failures to be identified and dealt with earlier in the development process. And this is an interview with the Financial Times, which one thing I don't like about what PlayStation is doing at the moment is they're constantly doing interviews in places like Vogue or GQ or Financial Times. Like, they're not talking to gaming outlets. Instead, they're talking to these highbrow outlets, somehow treating PlayStation like as though it's like the Apple of the gaming industry. I just really hate that, because I despise Apple for those very reasons. And I play on a PlayStation. God damn it, man. What the heck is going on here? Anyway, moving on from that. So, Holtz explained that the company has been putting in more measures to lessen the impact of any games that fail to meet its standard. Holtz's comments refer to the failure of Concord, which was reportedly in development for about 8 years and made it all the way to full release before, just 2 weeks after it launched, announced plans to take it offline, pull the game from sale, offer refunds to players who bought it, citing extremely, it says poor reception from players. Oh man, the reception was extraordinarily poor, because reception isn't just how something is received, but also how it sells, which is more on a commercial aspect than it is, commercial aspect, not just how positively a game is received in the long run as well. According to Holtz, new measures have been put in place to make sure potential problems are spotted far sooner, saying, "I don't want teams to play it safe, but I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply." And that's actually, okay, that's a positive spin. So I was actually originally going to complain about how, putting too much oversight might be a bit of a problem. But not wanting teams to play it safe sounds good. But the problem is, how do you balance putting in more oversight, looking over these projects, but at the same time making sure, or at least having some confidence, that teams aren't going to play it safe? That's an interesting conundrum to talk about. Holtz explained that PlayStation has implemented a stricter, more thorough testing process now, with the aim of being able to identify potential issues early. We have since put in much more rigorous and more frequent testing in many different ways, he says. The advantage of a failure is that people now understand how necessary that oversight is. Interesting how he puts it that way. According to the report, some of the new measures include more of a focus on group testing, learning from other Sony teams, which I think is excellent. I think that's a great idea, because you don't just make up good ideas yourself. Sometimes you need to stitch together good ideas from other people to create something new and unique that might actually be more beneficial than you think you might realize, or may come off as more unique because you're putting your own spin on something that other people are doing, and it's more of a perceptional thing at the end of the day. It really depends on how you want to look at it. And building closer relationship between the executives who spend hundreds of hours playing games before they're released. And that is actually really good, who spend hundreds of hours playing games before they're released. I think that that's great, because it really shows not just the quality of the game being released, but how it's going to last in the long run. I think that that's absolutely bloody brilliant, to be completely honest. But again, it still brings up the question, will it still be good when it launches? And is that oversight going to be too much? Because keeping in mind, Marathon is coming up, mind you. Fair Games is in the works, and it seems like people are liking it, or maybe not liking it. There's that Project Gummy Bears thing that came out of Bungie as well. Who the hell knows? And it was then created, and the new team was created called Team LFG of all things. And again, like the idea, the fact that for some ungodly reason, PlayStation wanted to release 12 live service games, which has since been cut down in numbers, and I still do genuinely believe that when it comes to Helldivers 2, originally Helldivers 2 was never meant to be was never originally touted as a live service game, but now is because of how successful it is. Anyway, that being said, so and of course, keeping in mind that earlier this month, Sony CFO Lin Tao, and this is the basically the most like amazing thing I've ever heard, said that it's gonna learn from its live service failures, and she also said that things weren't going great, but not talking about how things are going now. She's just saying, oh, it's better than 2020. Really? You don't say. I would bloody well hope so if it's been 5 goddamn years when you're working on the same project over and over again. But insists that progress is being made despite some of the live service failures that Sony has in fact faced throughout, and it is just genuinely fascinating, all things considered. I really don't know what the hell they're planning on with all of these live services, and so far from what I can tell, I've only named 3 live services off the top of my head that I know are currently being worked on, which is Marathon, Fair Games, and the codename Gummy Bears game that's being made by Team LFG. So that's the 3 main live service titles we do know of. And apparently, what I would say is that the game to look out for from the 3 would easily be Project Gummy Bears. I think that game may have a good chance in actually surviving and actually being a good yet playable game. And I hope that it's something that those of us who don't like playing multiplayer games might be able to get around. You know, something that we might like. But we won't know until the game launches or until they announce it and things start to pop off, because at the moment it really does feel like it's just a rumor and vaporware as of this point. But with all that being said, though, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. All this fail fast, fail early, so that they can, you know, sort out the issues after the fact. What kind of oversight do you think is going to be implemented? How bad the oversight is going to be? What's the creative output going to look like in all of this? That's another bigger question as well that I've been trying to pose this whole time. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. With all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.